Hi everyone, I'm Adrienne. Welcome to class. I'm excited to be here to share with you my favorite myofascial release techniques for the upper body. That's going to be our focus today. So whether you are an athlete, you sit at a desk for long periods of time, or you just tend to hold a lot of tension in your upper body, this is going to be a great recovery class for you. We will need some tools. So if you have a yoga block or even a bolster, that will be really helpful for some of the postures that we move into. And then either two of the same size myofascial release balls. If you don't have these, that's okay. You can use lacrosse balls or even tennis balls. The tennis balls will be a little bit softer, so if you find that any of these techniques are a little too intense for you, you can always try the tennis ball and see if that offers you a little more relief so you can relax in a little bit more. I encourage you to turn on some relaxing, chill music and join me in a tall seat with your myofascial balls close by. Taking these first few moments of class just to sit really tall in a comfortable seat, relaxing your arms where they're comfortable, maybe closing your eyes, just acknowledging how you feel today, physically and mentally. We're going to work to melt some of the stress away, to clear our mind, so that you leave this practice feeling good. Begin to find that breath. Slow inhale through the nose. Exhale the breath all the way out. Just a couple more like that. Breathing in slow. Exhaling the breath out. Begin to blink your eyes open if they're closed. We'll start with the chest. So you'll just need one of your balls here. Doesn't matter which side you start on. I'm going to start on my left. I'm going to use my right hand to just investigate a little bit here, rolling the ball on my chest, noticing any areas of tenderness. We want to stay away from anything that causes pain or any shooting sensation. And then just find a spot. Don't be afraid to dig in a little bit. And we're going to add some movement with our left arm. So opening the left arm to the left, keep that pressure on the ball. We'll reach our arm up into a wide position. And then if you have the mobility, we'll reach the arm up to the sky and back down. We'll do that again. Open up to the side into a T shape, up into a Y, and then reach the arm up to the sky. We'll reposition the ball, so maybe moving a little closer to the mid chest, and then find your T, your Y, and your I. Reaching up. We're not looking to force the movement here. Just gently moving through your own range of motion today. Continuing to breathe. Reposition the ball one more time, maybe a little closer to the sternum this time. It can be up towards the collarbone. Open it up. T, Y, and then I. Be noticing which area you landed on that has the most tenderness. And then just let that release, let it settle. Maybe you come back to closing your eyes for a few moments before we move it into the other side. You might just take both arms into your T, Y, and I shape, just to notice the difference between the side that you just worked and the side that we're about to move into. So I notice the side that we just worked, I feel a little warmer. I can definitely tell I have a bit more range of motion. So let's balance things out and move into the other side. So this time I'm going to work on my right side. I'm going to take the ball in my left hand, and before I start to move my arm, I'm just going to investigate here, finding medium pressure, just rolling all around my chest, towards the shoulder, towards the collarbone, and then closer to the sternum. As you're doing this, notice if you bring tension up into your jaw, just consciously making an effort to relax. And I'm going to find a point just below my rotator cuff here, closer to my shoulder. Press into the chest, and then find your T, Y, and I shape with your right arm. This point that you're pressing in might be a bit tender. Again, not looking for any painful sensations. We're going to bring the ball a little closer to the middle of the chest. Same thing, just taking the arm through some movement. And then we'll find one more spot, taking the ball maybe closer to the collarbone. Again, looking for space, for mobility. This is really great if you do a lot of overhead movement. You're just really tight through the chest. Good. And then we'll set that ball down. Just let it settle for a moment. I always like to take both arms and go through those movements again, just to notice now if I feel a little more balanced from side to side. You'll need your block. Next, we'll be moving into the upper traps. So I'm going to turn and face away from you for a moment just so you can see where we're moving into. It's going to be this meaty tissue right here. So we're staying off of the spine, right to the sides, right in here. So coming onto your back, and then you'll just reach around and place the balls on either side of the spine. You may need to roll around just a little bit to find a place that's most helpful for you. You might not be feeling a lot here, and that's fine. If you're looking for a little more sensation, take the block and just slide it underneath your pelvis. On the lowest level, if you want to go up in height, you can go there. So by adding the block underneath the pelvis, you're getting a little more compression into the balls. From here, you can explore movement, so maybe reaching your arms up to the sky. Just notice how this feels as you relax your shoulders towards the mat. And if it feels okay, you can start to sweep the arms up and back. Just getting into the deeper layers of the tissue. Really great to boost your circulation and hydrate these hard-working tissues. The effect is very similar to a deep tissue massage. Continue just to relax wherever you can in your body. And just find a place where you can be still for just a few moments. You decide where you want to land. And just breathe into the intensity that you might be feeling. Taking another breath or two. Press down into the feet, slide the block out from underneath you. Take the balls out from underneath the traps and slowly roll up and then onto your side. So I'm gonna land on my right side. Your block will go underneath your head, almost like a pillow. And if you don't have a block, this is where a bolster or even a folded up beach towel can be really helpful. So before I come down, I just want to show you where we're going to be working into. So we're going to take one ball or tennis ball to the back of the rotator cuff, right in here in the infraspinatus area of the shoulder. Tends to be pretty intense, so you can always bring two balls together or use the tennis ball if this is a little extra tender. So we're going to come on to our side. Kind of roll back a little bit towards the back to place the ball, and then bringing the block underneath your head. So you might need to just move this around a little bit until you find a place that's helpful. There you go. And then once you're in place, you can slowly start to move the shoulder around a little bit. Your legs are anywhere that they are most comfortable. So they can be extended, the knees can be bent. And at any point, if you need a little extra relief, just slowly roll towards your back. That's going to take some of the pressure off of where you're leaning into right here. If you want to add some movement, you can bend the right elbow and just find some internal and external rotation through the arm. If you find a point that's particularly tender or helpful, you might just choose to stay there and breathe into that. And we're going to take the ball just a little further forward underneath our lat. So right in this area right here. I'm going to reach around and just gently place it right there. Again, another pretty tender area for most of us. If you want to put your ball side by side, you can now. You're going to lay on your side and your right arm's going to start to reach away from you. And this might be plenty. Roll around until you find a place that's helpful and just lean into that. You can start to sweep your arm up and down a little bit and just notice how you feel with adding the movement. If you find a place that feels helpful, stay. Stay and breathe into that. You might even be feeling sensation down your arm into your fingers. Again, not looking for shooting pain, but you might be just feeling some referral sensation down the arm. Roll back just to take the ball out, and we'll be placing it on our tricep. So you might start closer to the shoulder, still on the same side. And then from here, you can draw some figure eights with your right arm. So notice how I'm dragging the ball as I move my arm, getting some cross-fibering action through these tissues, giving them some hydration, restoring their glide. Really good for our shoulders. And then you might hold it here and just rest your left hand on your right arm. And if it feels okay, you might explore bending and extending the elbow. Then we'll move down a bit. Might be in the middle of the tricep, maybe you're closer to the elbow, and again, same thing here. You might find this to be even more helpful than where you just were, or maybe you need to move a little bit further down. So everyone's going to feel a bit different as we move in and out of these different shapes. You can pause and find bend and extend in the elbow. Let's find one more point. I'm gonna come really close to my elbow. So staying off the bone, just below the elbow here, maybe an inch or so. And here you might need to kind of help guide the ball if it's all over the place. Sometimes it can be just a little more tricky, but feels really great. And wiggle your fingers. You might hold the ball as you find bend and extend through the elbow. Less is typically more with these things. You don't have to spend too much time in each area of the body to reap the benefits of this work. One more thing, we're going to get into the wrist extensors. So you'll place the ball on the hairy side of your forearm, keeping your elbow down. I'm going to use my opposite hand just to hold it in place and just start to find a bit of movement here, a little massage as I bring my arm forward and back. Sometimes this helps if you're on your sticky mat, and I'm feeling a lot of sensation here. It feels really good. So just notice what you're feeling. And you might find a point where you can just hang out in and enjoy for just a few breaths. We'll switch sides. So I'm just gonna flip around on my mat so I can keep facing you. You still only need the one ball. We're gonna roll on the left side this time. We'll roll back towards our back to place the ball behind the rotator cuff in the infraspinatus area. So if you're feeling a lot of intensity, you can stay more towards your back. If you want a little bit more, start to roll onto your left side. Let your legs just be comfortable and just notice how you feel. You can start to shrug the shoulder around a little bit until you find a point that's helpful. You'll usually know when you land on a really helpful point. You'll feel that hurt so good sensation. But again, if it's super tender, I encourage you to find somewhere close by that's helpful. Now you might explore sweeping the arm up and down and just notice how that changes things. If you prefer just to be still, just relax into wherever you're at. Now we'll move into the lats. So we're just going to take the ball a little further towards midline, underneath the armpit area, and reaching the arm up and out. You might explore that sweeping sensation again, or taking internal and external rotation. Give yourselves just a couple breaths. We'll move into the tricep next. So just placing the ball anywhere within the tricep, anywhere in here is fair game. I'm going to start closer to the shoulder. So you may need to adjust the block just so you have some room to move. I'm going to draw those figure eights again. I'm just supporting myself with my right hand on the mat, moving the left arm. I can definitely feel a little more on this side. And I'll move down just a bit so I'm towards the middle of the tricep. Feel a little less sensation here, but on the other side, I found a little bit more in this area. But it's interesting when you come back to this practice and just notice how things feel different on different days. Let's take it closer to the elbow, but staying directly off the bone. You may need to kind of help guide the ball here. Tends to be a little bit harder to keep it in place. Maybe bending and extending the elbow. Then moving into the wrist extensor. So you want to be on the hairy part of your forearm with the elbow towards the floor. From here, you can start to sweep your arm further and closer to you. Maybe a little bit of rolling. Again, finding a point that's helpful. I feel it there and right in my fingers. So maybe you're moving your fingers around a little bit. Just 2 more beats. Perfect. Next, we're going to continue working down the back just a bit. So we're going to find the medial border of our shoulder blades. So again, couple inches away from the spine, working right in here. You might be a little bit higher or lower depending on where you feel sensation today. So I'm just going to set my block aside. We're going to place both of the balls just a few inches away from each other on either side of the spine in the medial border of the shoulder blades. If it's more helpful to have a block underneath your head to feel supported, go ahead and make your way there. And again, you might need to just kind of reach back and readjust where you've landed on the balls here. And you might be feeling plenty in this area, just trying to relax your torso. So stay with that if you're happy there. You might explore taking your arms out to the sides. Then maybe you draw your arms in to give yourself a little bit of a hug. Now this is where things might get pretty intense. You can open up again and then taking your opposite arm on top as you give yourself a hug. Tennis balls can be really nice here, or you can even use a foam roller to get into some of these areas. Just linger for another couple breaths. Just going to work our way down just a little bit. So you're going to be sliding yourself towards the top of your mat. You might need to reach around again and just kind of adjust where the balls have landed. So you're now towards the bottom edge of the shoulder blades. Still pretty close to the spine, but not on the spine itself. And just relax into that. Maybe feel a bit more by just gently rocking your knees from side to side. I'm not moving too far, but you'll feel the compression shift from the right to the left. We'll move down just a little bit further into the QL area. So I'm going to lift my hips up here just to slide the balls. I'm just going to sit up for a moment to show you. So we're going to be just below the ribs and above the pelvis. So right in this area right here is where we're looking to hit. So start with your knees bent. You can take the balls a little bit wider towards the sides of your body into the erectors. And just again, slowly relaxing yourself down. If you feel better with a block underneath the head to support you, make that change. And again, you might just start to rock your knees from side to side. I'm feeling a lot more here on the left side around the kidney band. Really intense today. I've been sitting a lot lately, so my low back is a little grumpy. We're going to find one more spot. So take the balls just above the back rim of the pelvis. We'll keep the soles of the feet on the mat to start. So just relax into it. And then if you're looking for more sensation, maybe you start to hug the right knee in towards the chest. You'll feel a little more compression move into that side. Some really strong tissue in here, so just looking to boost the circulation, improve our hydration, and gliding of these tissues. Let's move into the other side, so right foot down, left knee into the chest. Squeeze it in. Just maybe a little shimmy of the hips from side to side. Or you can enjoy stillness. Give yourselves another 2 to 3 breaths. Release the left foot to the floor, take the balls out from underneath you, and just come to relax on your back. Coming into any shape that feels supportive and restful for these final few moments of class, just absorbing all of the hard work that you just did, down regulating the parasympathetic nervous system, feeling that relaxation response initiate in the body. Maybe closing your eyes and just breathing really deep in and out through the nose, letting go of any residual stress or tension that you're holding onto in the upper body. Please stay for as long as you have time today, resting and just enjoying your time on the mat. I hope you're feeling good. Come back to this practice whenever you need an upper body reset. Until then, have a great rest of your day. Namaste.